How gross is that?
Yone. Riot's brand new champion just got revealed. Yone is Yasuo's brother. He also has a Z ultimate on a 22-second cooldown. You'll be pleased to know that he also has 2 knockups that he can chain back to back. Excited Yone mains are already out in full force on Reddit to downplay his strengths to dodge the nerf bat before he goes live by saying, well, he's a mobile, so it's okay. Yeah, Yone is totally busted right now. Let's take a closer look at his kit as we dive into skill caps first impressions. Oh, and if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, then you're missing out big time. Smash that button to catch our full Yone coverage and so much more. We promise you won't regret it. So Yone's passive grants him double the crit chance from items, but they deal 10% less damage than normal crits. The real crazy thing is every second auto attack deals 50% magic damage and 50% physical, which will make him a nightmare to itemize against. His Q deals a short range stab just like Yasuo's and stacks up to 2 times before the third one, where he will throw a tornado as he dashes forward a fixed distance. This Q dash covers a sizable distance that can go through walls, even thick ones. This much distance does guarantee there will be a ton of inting Yones who Q into the enemy while using it for last hits, so look out for that. There's also a sweet combo that you can do with his Q and ultimate, which we'll talk about when we get there. His W deals cleave damage in a cone similar to Camille's W hitbox. If he hits a champion with his W, he'll gain a shield. The more champions he hits with his W, the bigger the shield. This is surprisingly good during laning phase and allows you to actually harass your opponents under tower without eating too much damage. His W cooldown also scales with attack speed. More attack speed, more Ws. You can also W flash since it has a cast time as well. His E is bonkers. He dashes forward in a targeted direction, leaving an untargetable body behind. This lasts for 5 seconds before he's pulled back to his starting location. During this time, any damage he deals to any champion is stored onto the champions, just like Zed's ultimate, but deals 25 to 35% true damage onto the enemies when it pops the moment you return to your starting location. You can pop this damage early by just tapping his E again as well to return. Oh, and it also gives you extra ramp up speed just so you can chase down your opponents for free kills like this. And remember, that's just his E, my friends. Yone has an ultimate ability keybound to his R. This is actually pretty hard to land since you do have to aim it and it has a 0.75 seconds wind up time, so players will dodge this fairly easily as they get used to it. After the wind up, Yone blinks in the target direction, and enemies between Yone and his casting position get pulled towards him and then knocked up for 0.75 seconds. You can also combine your E with your ultimate for safe snipes, as we can see from this live example. Let's quickly go over his playstyle. There's 2 stages to Yone, before he's fed and after he's fed. Let's start with before. Prior to getting a lead, Yone plays very similarly to Echo or LeBlanc. You'll mostly be looking to E forward onto enemies, burst them down and then blink back to safety after laying down your damage. You should also never be fighting without your E up while you're not fed. If you do, Yone has a very hard time getting out, especially if he doesn't have his third Q ready. Once he's fed though, he's almost just a better form of Yasuo. Just like Yasuo, he has non-stop damage once he gets rolling. Not only that, but Yone isn't as reliant on knockups as Yasuo is. It's incredibly difficult to initiate fights as Yasuo without a prior knockup, but Yone can go into fights reliably with his E, get guaranteed knockups, all while being able to get out at the same time. So for his strengths, he basically negates a lot of the downsides that most melee champions have. Once they go in, they're in, but Yone has the consistent damage of Yasuo while having the safety of Echo with a shield on his W and a recall on his E. The best part is that other champions use their mobility tools as an escape, for example Fizz E or Katarina Shunpo, but they lose all of their damage if they use it. Yone's escape just gives him more true damage and movement speed towards his target while also getting him out of harm's way at the same time. Yone's ultimate is also very strong when used from Fog of War, or following up on other crowd control. Managing it to land it is key because it's basically just a slower Malphite ultimate. Not only that, but it doesn't have the annoying setup that Yasuo's ultimate has. And to top it all off, it will be incredibly difficult to itemize against Yone, since his second auto attack does half magic damage. He is essentially dealing 25% magic damage with his auto attacks. Pair that off with his E's true damage, and well, there isn't enough armor in the world to fend off his wrath. This all being said, Yone isn't without his share of weaknesses. His E's mobility has the same drawback that Zoe's R has. While both abilities allow them to do degenerate things, they don't allow them to escape when they're actually caught out. Therefore, Yone will be super feast or famine. With no reliable escape tools and having to commit to fights to deal damage, he can easily get one shot if he falls behind. He definitely won't have the luxury of his brother's wind wall to keep him safe. Not only this, but he has fairly slow animations. This won't be a problem against a lot of champions, but champions with fast mobility will be able to punish his slow animations such as Katarina or Zed. Alright, let's get into some cool things that you can do as Yone. First up, you can stack your tornado, then land your ultimate and then knock up again with your Q afterwards. That's something Yasuo can't do, since he loses all of his Q stacks when he uses his ultimate. Yone also gets the opportunity to go for risk-free assassinations over walls. By leaving his E behind, he can fully commit to his high burst combo, using his ultimate to lock them down in place to guarantee a ton of damage. And then he can just zip back to his body after the demon has been slain. Let's wrap things up with our final thoughts on Yone. We believe he will basically be a much more consistent Yasuo. He has just as much, if not more CC, great itemization, and hard to deal with mixed damage. Later into the game, he'll be an insane carry. Once he has his Infinity Edge and 100% crit, he'll be able to E forward onto enemy teams, do a ton of damage, and then just hightail it out of there back to his body. With his high skill ceiling, it will be super interesting to see how he plays out in the hands of pros, especially when paired with his brother. The possibility for crazy plays are endless. He's a welcome addition to the Rift with how fun he'll be to play, though we do hope Riot takes notice at how OP he is and nerfs him a little bit before release. Alright guys, we'd love to hear what your thoughts are in the comments about Yone. Do you think he's busted? Overrated? Immobile? We want to hear it all. We hope you enjoyed SkillCap's early look at Riot's brand new champion on the day of announcement. Please show your support to our team by hitting that like button and subscribe. Even better, check out our awesome website. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow for our next release.